Hey, how's everybody doing today? And welcome back to the next episode of Coffee Talk with Brohawk. Today I have my friend Shante Smith-Daniels with me. And Shante, we got to know kind of through the contact center space, several years ago, and we just kind of kept up. For those people who don't know you that may be watching this video, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and what are you up to these days?
Well, I'm Shante, and that says it all. I don't know.
There you go.
But I'm Shante. I'm in the operations space, operations leadership. Right now, I have the wonderful LinkedIn title of Fractional COO. So what that means is I work in small and mid-sized businesses to actually help lead operations. So that includes not only working on the strategy, but also the execution. And so that's a little bit different than just being a consultant. I love it because I love people, and to me, operations is all about people. So I know if I can get our people in order and have our people have all the resources they need, that the business will grow and be successful.
I love the concept of a fractional COO.
Mhm.
What is a fractional COO? How do you define that as compared to other advisory type services?
Yeah, so for me, fractional, the big distinction is we work within your business. So, like I said, we're working on strategy, but we're also working on execution. So, we're owning the outcomes of that strategy. In other advisory roles, they may come in and just give you a strategy or just give
Mm.
you a printout and be like, okay, we're out, we
Yep.
done, have a good day. And
Go
then you
forth
as
and
the
do great
founder,
things.
right, you as the founder who's already overwhelmed is like, what? You just gave me a 10-page book to do what with, right?
Uh-huh.
But we as fractionals, we actually come in, help with the strategy, lay out the plan, implement it. So that can look, especially the COO role can look different for different organizations. Sometimes I'm doing more financials. Um, it's just different. Operations is different everywhere, depending on the size of the organization. Um,
Exactly.
but I like it because I get my hands dirty, and from the outside looking in, it looks like we're actually within your organization and not an outsider.
So I got to dumb things down for myself sometimes,
Mhm.
but you come in and you basically put the training wheels on an organization, teach them how to pedal that bike on their own,
Mhm.
watch out for things, and then you take the training wheels off, and they're free to roam around the world.
Yes. So I do take the training wheels off. They are
Uh-huh.
free to roam, but I'm on the bike next to them for a little
Nice.
while to make sure once I took those training wheels off, they
Uh-huh.
don't fall and skin their knee and never get back on the bike again. So yes, there
Excellent.
is, I like that. So yes, we do put the training wheels on. We're on during that process, but we're also on when we take those training wheels off, right? To
Love
make
it.
sure everything's stabilized. We have, especially for operations, like we have the right people in the right seats, and there's
Hmm.
a good momentum, and that we've actually built, I always say I build operations, so that I actually built a sustainable operational framework for the organization.
Excellent, excellent. And the focus on small to mid-sized businesses, I mean, is awesome. Do you find that sometimes some of those founders of the small businesses, even up to the mid-sized business, they don't know what they don't know?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, okay. So let's just be real.
Uh-huh.
So like you're a founder, right?
Yep.
So let's say 7 times out of 10, you had this vision, you had this
Uh-huh.
idea, you had this thing you love to do, right? So you're doing the thing you love to do, and then you get successful. So you start hiring a team, and there's going to become a point where you need to step out of actually running your business and work on your business, right?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, founders, like a lot of times when I'm interviewing them or talking to them, I'll say, what do you think your problem is? And it's not the problem because they don't know. Like they don't they don't know what the problem is. They know how they feel, right?
Uh-huh.
But they're not embedded in their business enough to know what the problem is because they're doing too many things.
What
They're trying to be the marketer.
Yep.
They're trying to be the ops person. They're trying to be the salesperson.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
What do you see the difference, or how would you define working in versus working on the business? Because I
Mhm.
loved how you brought that distinction out in your last comment. What's how would you define the difference between the two?
Yeah, so working in the business is a lot of task,
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot, you're the founder, you're still doing a lot of like admin tasks. You're still making a lot of decisions that you don't need to make.
Hmm.
And I always think about Steve Jobs and how he was like, I have to make so many decisions. I like minimize my decisions. He's doing the same thing all the time. And so
Yep.
as a founder, right, you have tens of millions of decisions. And so when you're actually working in your business, to me, you're like a glorified employee that gets to
Hmm.
sit at the big desk, right?
Yep.
Um, when you're working on your business, you're doing more things that are more on the strategic level. It may be you're speaking at conferences, you're meeting with external stakeholders. So you're
Hmm.
actually able to have that breathing room to work on the outside of the business versus working on the inside of the business.
Love that. Love that. So based on some of the experiences that you have, as a fractional CEO, but even before that, just from an operational perspective, when you were internal to a company before,
Mhm.
where are like C-suites and executives struggling the most right now? And how do you assist those organizations, whether past or present, or potentially in the future? How do you assist them in addressing their challenges?
So to me, it's been similar for my work inside corporate and outside corporate.
Hmm.
Then this is my take on it. So C-suite executives struggle with understanding their people are their best resource.
Hmm.
They really struggle with understanding that. So when I come in an operations role, I'll ask, okay, when have you asked your team for feedback? And I'm like, I don't know, last year, we kind of do it. And I'm like, okay, did you track it? Where's the information?
Yeah.
Well, we had a meeting about it, right? But they don't
Hmm.
see the value in actually using the existing bench they have to get feedback on what's working, what's not working, and also great ideas for the company
Yeah.
because people if you hire the right I'm sure you hire the right people because that's a whole different subject. But
Exactly.
people are
That's a whole
smart,
nother
right?
episode.
That's a whole nother episode, so I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. But I think they get overwhelmed in their role as C-suite, whatever they are, and they
Hmm.
really forget to tap into their people resource that they already have.
Yeah. Um, and do you think sometimes it's because they've been burned by not bringing in that right person before? So now they're all of a sudden gun shy about expanding too quickly, or not expanding for the right roles.
Yeah, I think some of it's they've been burned, some of it's they don't know,
Hmm.
right? They just don't know. They know they
Yep.
need help. They're not sure what type of help they need.
Hmm.
And some of it really is they don't want to let go.
Mm.
A lot of mission-based, I also work with a lot of like mission-based organizations,
Yep.
and the founders, it's their mission, right? To save the world, right?
There you
But they
go.
think that mission to save the world, they're the only ones that can do it. And
Mm.
so I told a founder a couple months ago, I was like, okay, this is gonna be an Elsa moment. I need you to let it go. Let it
Yeah.
go. So every time I feel you holding on to something and not delegating, I'm gonna give you the let it go meme.
There you go. Take the cape off. You don't have to
Yeah,
be super person.
yeah, yeah.
I love that. I love that. How often do you have to use the Elsa analogy? Because I think it's a great one.
I
Um,
have to I use it a lot in the beginning because they
uh,
don't realize the power of letting it go. And
uh-huh.
they also don't realize the power of letting their team do things,
Mm.
right? So releasing that to your team. You know, they don't really realize the power, and this is gonna say the power to empower their team
Yes.
by letting things go and letting their teams be accountable for certain actions or outcomes.
So that feeds into the whole idea of culture and the culture that that founder is foundationally creating. Um, and how can sometimes how have you seen or experienced or worked with people, um, in really understanding the impact of culture on their growth, as a business or as an organization?
Yeah. So for me, because I'm very people focused in ops,
Uh,
culture is that's your foundation. And so if your
yep,
culture's trash, I mean, it's just the whole trash situation all
exactly.
around. But a lot of times as founders, like I said, they came up with this vision, this mission, they started this company, it's their baby,
Hmm.
and they may be really good at what they're doing, but they
Yep.
may not be the best leader. Or they may be
Mm.
so overwhelmed they're not able to actually create the culture their company needs.
Yep.
I know for me with SSD Consulting, I have a team of executive assistants, and it was very important when I onboarded that first executive assistant.
Hmm.
Onboarding showed the culture of my company, right? It showed like what we expected, who we are, how we treat our clients. And so it's really important that you as a founder make sure your company, your team knows the culture. Everyone should know what it means to be on your team. And if they don't, you can bring me in and I can help you with that.
There you go.
Because also, if you have a culture that is toxic or not open, and for me as an operations person, that's very difficult because people are not going to be willing and
Hmm.
able to give open feedback about what's working and what's not working.
It's interesting. I guess I would say in a lot of the tech startup,
Mm.
um, people are those founders are very focused on, I'm going to build this really cool thing that everybody's going to want to buy. And they're so focused on that that they forget about all of the other parts. And I'm imagining that's those are ripe environments for you to really come in and do the great operational work. um, it's like, no, you need to get out of the kitchen, um, and let other people do the things that you want to bring them in to do. Um, is that are those what a lot of the conversations are about?
Yeah, again, they have this great product, a great SaaS product, great cybersecurity software, and they're like, the software is it. This is it. But I always say it's good, but it's not, it's only as good as the people around it,
Hmm.
right? It's
Yeah,
only as good as your team. It's only as good as your team is going to deliver. Because there's always going to be difficult times in your business. But your culture can help bring you through that time, help you and your team come through that time versus your team just leaving, right?
yeah.
Because they're like this, I don't like this here anyway.
I love that. I love that. What are some of the things, like what would be your top two or three things when you're talking to a client that you really want them to focus in on, as a fractional, as opposed to a W-2 internal, person. Um, where do you usually start with getting them to focus?
Well, I always start with this conversation. Um, if you were to leave your business for 2 weeks, would it be okay?
Yeah.
Right. And
Hmm.
then I put a little caveat on there. If you were to leave your business for 2 weeks and didn't have your cell phone, would it be okay? Right.
Yes.
Right. Right.
That's a
So
big
if
question right there.
that's a big question, especially for founder-led, owner-operator-led businesses, because
Uh-huh.
if your answer is no, that means your business relies 100% on you. And what
Mm-hmm.
that means is if you get sick,
Mm-hmm.
your business is going to suffer. If a spouse or family member gets sick, your business is going to suffer.
Yep.
If you, for some reason, want to sell your business in a couple years, your valuation is going to be decreased. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
pass the business down onto your kids, it's not going to be good.
Yep.
So I start there to kind of frame, I'm helping you come out of the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I always have that conversation. And then the second thing is Are you able to let it go?
Hmm.
Right? Because I'm fractional. I'm not your therapist,
Yeah.
right? I'm not your therapist. And so I can help you with the process, but if you don't want to let it go, and if you
Yep.
don't want to delegate, and if you don't want to start holding your team accountable, there's only so much I can do. And you're going to be frustrated, and then I'm going to be frustrated. And we don't want that.
No, that never ends well. Never ends well. We're How frequently are you talking succession planning? And do you see people even thinking about succession planning as part of the business and as part of the work that you do?
So I'm talking about it on a regular basis because I'm asking the founder, like, what's your end goal?
Uh-huh.
Like, you're not going to be in this business forever. So
Yep.
what are we growing this business to do? Are you growing to
Hmm.
sell it? A lot of people are growing their businesses to sell. A lot of people, depending on the age, are growing their business to, till their retirement age to sell. But that's
Hmm.
always a question because I need to know what the end game is in mind for me to
Yep.
build the operations to that.
Nice. Nice. Um, do you find that founders or um, operators have the answers to those questions? What their end goal is, or are they just like, oh my gosh, that's a really good question. I don't
Mm.
know.
Very few do because they haven't thought about it because they've been working in their business. They've
Yeah.
been working in the day-to-day admin of the business. I had a founder once, I was talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a have to cut our call short because I have to work on these three proposals." And I said, okay. This was not my face when I was talking to him, by the way.
Yeah.
I do have another face. But I was like, okay, what do you mean work on three proposals? He was like, well, such and such is out,
Uh-huh.
and such is out, and I gotta get these done today. And I'm like,
Mm.
and
Do you?
I was
Yeah.
like, well, that's an operational gap that you, as the founder of this, 25 million dollar SaaS company,
Uh-huh.
has to hurry up and do three proposals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So in that instance, like what's your end game?
Yeah. Why
To write
why are
proposals
you
the
why are
rest of your
you
life?
doing all this stuff? Where's
Right.
the accountability back to other
Right.
people?
Um,
There you go. I love it. I love it. Um, so I ask everybody this question. Um, and yeah, as we start getting to the end of our episode here, as someone who has had a very successful professional career, um, I'm really interested in learning your thoughts about this question. At this stage of my career, I wish I can go back in time and tell my younger self blank. And how would that have helped you navigate your career a little bit differently?
so I would tell my younger self to go for it. I was
Uh,
asked to do a lot of things, to change roles, to get higher responsibility, and I was like, I'm not there. I'm not ready, but getting in that role makes you ready. And whoever the person who was tagging me, the people that were always tagging me to do more, they saw something in me I didn't see in myself, right?
Nice.
And so if I would have done that sooner, I don't know where I would be. But if I was there with my younger self, there was a couple of times where people in corporate were like, "Come do this," and I was like, I would have told myself, just go for it.
Very nice. Very nice. Um, well, we're on the focus round now
Okay.
of the episode. So are you ready for this like speed questions?
Oh, let me take some water.
All right. All right.
Oh.
Um, so we've talked a lot about some of the work that you do
Mhm.
as a fractional COO, SSD consulting. Um, what are three takeaways from today's conversation that you would want viewers to remember?
Three takeaways. Operations is your best friend.
Hmm.
People matter. People matter. Um, Number three, let it go.
Let go. Love it. Love it. I was wondering where that one was going to come in. I love the whole let it go mantra.
Mhm.
And I would love to see somebody's face the first time they see a meme coming over from you. You know,
Mhm.
please tell me you've created your own avatar with that.
I'm gonna do that. No, I haven't. I need to though. I
There
need
you
to. Maybe
go.
it'll be my face like Elsa saying "Let it go." There you go.
That's what I'm
AI,
talking
AI
about.
it.
Yes, yes. Everybody's out here on LinkedIn, the last couple weeks creating their own caricatures.
Mhm.
Maybe you could do that with the Let It Go. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So, what is the value of working with you, SSD Consulting, but you personally?
hmm so the value of working with me personally is I understand what good operations look like. I
Hmm.
understand how a good operational framework affects your team and you as the founder. So working with SSD, of course, I have everybody's a framework. I have a
Yeah.
framework called People, Profits, Peace of Mind. And so what that means is your people are the foundation. So we build operations around your people so that your employees, your clients, your vendors,
Yeah.
right? And so if everything's working smoothly, you should have better profits. And then you as the founder, owner, operator, CEO has peace of mind.
Love that. Love that. It's a process. I
Mhm.
love it. I love it. What is your key differentiator?
My key differentiator is the people. Like I really understand the people aspect in operations because I started at the bottom in a corporation and I saw how C-suite executives would initiate a plan without any feedback from anyone else and wonder why it failed.
Mm,
Um, so I come with that. I've been there. I've been in those rooms when something was implemented and we didn't have any feedback on it. We're just supposed to do it. And then when it fails, they're like, what happened? So I know from experience, it's very important to get that feedback from your team, your clients, your vendors, to keep your operational system working.
get them bought in, get
Mhm.
your front lines bought in early and often. I love that. I love that. So if somebody wants to pick your brain, um, they're like, oh man, Shantae is awesome. I want to chat with her a little bit more about my operation, the work that you do, fractional leadership, or some of the advisory services. What conferences or events you may be attending? How can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so they can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm
Hmm.
Shante Smith-Daniels on LinkedIn. Also, you can send me email. My email is Shante at ssdconsultingllc.com.
Excellent.
So yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest way to get to me right now.
Perfect. Perfect. Um, well, Shante, thank you so much for being a guest on this episode. Conversations with you are always amazing. Next time I'm down in your neighborhood, lunch is on me. Um, there you go. There you go. And looking forward to uh, uh, to sharing this our video here with our networks. And anybody that's watching this, if you like the content, you like the conversation here, you want an introduction to Shantae, let me know. I'll make an introduction to her. She will actually respond to messages. And not like some people that are out there that just say, oh yeah, message me. I'll get back to you. And next thing you hear is crickets. And so if you like what you see, you want to talk to her, definitely reach out to her. I can make an intro. But on this episode, if you like and subscribe, as my 7.5-year-old says. Remember to click like and subscribe. And so, Shante, thank you very much for being a guest on this episode. And look forward to chatting with you again here soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.